So this is Robert with my last race of the 2020 season. It's race number 18 on Sunday. I'll do the Saturday race later. As you can see, I had to borrow a friend's car, teammate's car, to finish the season. I had transmission problems and did not finish the two races up at Thunder Hill, which kind of makes up for John not being here for this weekend. He's my main competition. Beautiful day, as you saw. That's Vince's car that I borrowed. He's my teammate. And my other teammate, Daryl, actually wins his first race ever, I think, in the Formula Atlantic car series.
Okay, now this is the second start.
Look at the second row.
And Robert is actually starting in 11th, not 12th.
So that was my wife with the start of the race. She mentioned the second start. They waved off the first one. The FC cars, Pacific Coast Series, is last race, and they were going crazy, so they were jumping the start. Anyway, second lap, but the first real race lap since the first start got waved off. And as you saw from the exterior shot, as we come down here into turn 3 and start around turn 4 and 5, there's a little contact, lockups, a lot of tire smoke, and I think I lose about 5 or 6 spots here if you count all the cars. So it started to, I think, in 11th, which isn't too bad. Was probably going to pass 4 or 5 and end up about the same place as yesterday, which was 5th. But as it works out, I went from 11th back to, 16th, 17th, 18th, and then finally end up the race back in 7th. But that's after some serious driving technique changes due to some car issues. But we'll come to that later. They don't really start until about lap 7, I think it is.
Yellow flag.
Can't tell if there's any other cars when the tow trucks are coming right there to get that car out of the way quickly. We'll see if they can do that without having to.
The exterior shot was just a repeat after that yellow flag we saw. And it's down into turn 9. This is turn 12, 13, 14. I forget exactly how they number them all. But as you can see, it's second lap, really the first race lap. I've got quite a few cars in front of me that I know I can pass pretty comfortably. But this is a good point to talk about just how hard I'm driving the car. As I mentioned, and you probably read in the caption, this is my teammate Vince's car. And I'm really trying to be extra careful, as you might imagine. My lap times here, I think I did 8 of them in the 139s the last time I was here in my car. In Vince's car, I think I get down to about 142, it looks like here, 43. They're really being pretty careful. Not wanting to damage his transmission, which is what's wrong with my car at the moment, but that's kind of a whole nother story too. Look at that Formula Mazda. We'll get a shot at the exterior. He did really good there to hold me off on that. This is turn 5, 6, and somebody else smoking some tires broke. I don't know. He was down there on the outside of the corner. The little Formula Mazda that hung with me on the straightaway I'm passing him here. I can a little more torque and acceleration than him. I guess it's good to mention here that we had pretty much full downforce on Vince's car, which means it's not as fast as some of the other cars in the high-speed sections, but it's a heck of a lot safer to drive, but less risky to drive, less chance of me losing control and tearing up his car in addition to my own car that's out of action. So anyway, second real lap here, and I'm feeling pretty good. I've got the cars in front of me, and I managed to avoid the chaos and not tear up Vince's car on the start. And so I figure I'm going to pass most of these cars here in front of me. I'll just take my time, pick them off two at a time, and I think we'll see that here in a minute. Actually, we're going to switch to an exterior shot so you can see how close I am behind them. It's pretty distorting here with this fisheye lens. Before I forget, I want to jump in here and say thank you to my crew chief, Bob Morris. Been with him 9-10 years now. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be getting the championship this year. Vince, who normally drives a red car, is 6 feet 6 inches tall, and I'm 5 feet 8 inches on a tall day. So you can imagine how much work Bob had to do to get me in the car for this weekend. Thank you, Bob. Owe you a ton. So as you can see from that exterior shot, I closed up on these guys pretty quickly under braking here, and car's driving what I would call normally pretty good, and so I'm ready to pass these two guys. He's driving a little defensively, driving an awful tight line inside to try to keep me from going around, but I don't know why, because it's not going to work, and I'm just taking my time. I'll pass him probably out of turn 9 here on the way down to turn 12. It jumps from 9 to 12 because there used to be a chicane right here, and for whatever reason they're not running it anymore, so you just kind of go straight through, but they haven't changed the numbering as far as I know. And as you can see, I started passing them here pretty easy. And so now I want to correct something I just said. I said the car is driving normally, but that's not quite true. Normally when I want to upshift the car, I just pull back on the stick, and it interrupts the throttle a little bit and shifts up, and you just keep right on going. You don't even really notice anything. For whatever reason, that sensor switch that's giving me the downshift problem is also giving me an upshift problem. And so I'm at this point in the race adjusting and learning, and I'm just starting to give it a manual lift with my foot. So not a big deal, but it does slow you down a little bit because you're having to take your foot off the gas to make it shift up gears. I think I'm about to pass the white car here. Yeah, somebody went off track there, but nothing to interfere with our racing. And after I pass him, another problem occurs with the car, or it gets worse. I don't know what the right way to put it is, and he'll pass me back, but we'll come to that in a minute here. What I'm going to do is go to native audio and let you hear what a normal downshift sounds like, and then that'll be relevant later in the race when I'm not able to make normal downshifts. So we'll switch to native audio here and just listen to the blips of the throttle. So hope you could make out the little that's not a very good imitation, but it's the revs coming up. You also saw me pass the white car, and now this one, as I was talking about. But right in here about lap 6 or 7 is where I start having problems downshifting, and you won't hear those blips. So I'm going to switch this back. might be a little tough to make out. And there's little sounds going here and there, but I'm pumping my foot 5 or 6 times and getting maybe one little blip out of it. What's really weird is coming down in here into this next 2 turns where I need to do that. It works perfectly, so we'll let you listen to those. At this point in the race, I've decided I'm really just not going to be able to drive very fast with the shifting issues that seem to be developing or that I'm trying to manage. So you saw me waving to my team, just saying hi. I don't know why. Passing a wounded car there, as the caption says. And then here we'll see if we can hear it this time. So if you probably figured out here, I'm having this weird will not shift, can't get it to blip here in turn 3, that right here every lap. But in the other turns, turns 9 and 12, it seems to work fine, which makes no sense at all. So here it works normally. Catch up to the white car again because here we go. I've kind of figured out what to do and adapted my driving to work around the problem, but it's really just so severe here in turn 3 that I gave up even trying to downshift. I would just brake all the way to the end of the corner here, and then I would take my foot off the brake, use it for the clutch, and get all the shifting done here in the middle, and then take off again. And with driving the car that way, I didn't want to get that close to anybody else and risk breaking their car for no real reason when the championship's over for the year. I've got the points. I'm driving somebody else's car. Just not making sense to be too crazy here. So as we pop through the last couple laps here, it's a good time to say thanks so much to my lovely wife, Carrie Ann, who puts up with all this silly racing stuff. Actually is a great partner in it. And also to my crew chief, Bob Morris, just does a fabulous job taking care of the car and me and Carrie Ann and everyone else as well. Got lucky this year, managed to eke out the championship, avoid COVID, and overall had a great time. Thanks to everybody.